In every corner of the world, love speaks. But it does not always sound the same. In some places, love arrives loudly, in poetry, music, dancing, flowers, and passionate declarations beneath moonlit balconies. In others, it whispers quietly, through shared meals, silent sacrifice, a folded blanket on a cold night, or a cup of tea placed gently beside someone without a word. And perhaps that is the beautiful mystery of humanity. That while every culture teaches love differently, every human heart still longs for the same thing: to be seen, understood, and cherished. How different cultures express love and romance. A man in Japan wakes before sunrise. Without speaking, he quietly prepares lunch for his wife before she leaves for work. He carefully arranges rice, vegetables, and handwritten notes inside a small box. Thousands of miles away in Nigeria, a grandmother tells her granddaughter, "If he truly loves you, he will show up for your family." In Italy, two elderly lovers sit at a cafe in silence, their hands intertwined after 50 years together. And somewhere in India, a young couple steals glances across a crowded wedding celebration, saying everything without saying a word. Different languages, different traditions, different expectations. Yet somehow, the emotion is familiar everywhere. Because love is universal. But romance is deeply cultural. Across history, cultures have shaped the way people express affection, commitment, attraction, and devotion. What one society sees as romantic, another may see as unusual. What feels distant in one culture may feel deeply caring in another. In many Western societies, love is often associated with verbal expression: "I love you," public affection, romantic dates, anniversaries. But in other parts of the world, love may be shown through duty, patience, loyalty, hospitality, protection, or family responsibility. And none of these expressions are necessarily more genuine than the other. They are simply different ways human beings have learned to answer one timeless question: how do we show someone they matter? Long before modern dating apps and social media, love was closely tied to survival, family structure, religion, tradition, and community. In some cultures, marriage was less about individual passion and more about partnership between families. In others, poetry and romance became celebrated art forms. Ancient Persian poets wrote endlessly about longing and devotion. Chinese love stories spoke of destiny and patience. African oral traditions often connected love with community and lineage. Indigenous cultures across the Americas viewed partnership as spiritual balance and shared responsibility. Even today, echoes of those traditions remain. Culture quietly teaches people how to flirt, how to apologize, how to commit, how to sacrifice, how to express emotion, sometimes without people even realizing it. A person raised in Brazil may express affection through warmth, closeness, and touch. Someone raised in Korea may express love through acts of service and responsibility. A Scandinavian partner may value emotional steadiness and personal space. A Middle Eastern family may see love through deep hospitality and fierce protection. Love is not only emotional. It is learned behavior. When Maya from Canada met Idris from Senegal, they believed love alone would make everything simple. At first, everything felt exciting. The music, the food, the languages, the stories they shared late into the night. Maya admired how deeply connected Idris was to his family. Idris admired Maya's independence and openness. But over time, small misunderstandings appeared. When Maya wanted private time together, Idris often included extended family in gatherings. When Idris remained calm and quiet during disagreements, Maya worried he no longer cared. When Maya openly expressed affection in public, Idris sometimes became uncomfortable. Neither of them was wrong. They had simply inherited different emotional maps. One evening, after a difficult argument, Idris told her something she would never forget. "In my culture," he said softly, "love is not always spoken. It is responsibility. It is presence. It is sacrifice. And Maya realized something profound. She had spent so much time looking for love in the form she recognized, that she almost missed the love standing directly in front of her. Slowly, they began learning each other's languages of affection. Not English. Not French. Not Wolof. Emotional language. She learned why family mattered so deeply to him. He learned why verbal reassurance mattered to her. And somewhere between those differences, a new form of love emerged, one built not on assumption, but understanding. Because real connection often begins where certainty ends. Around the world, romance takes remarkably different forms. In South Korea, couples often celebrate specific relationship milestones, from 100-day anniversaries to matching outfits that symbolize unity and commitment. In many African cultures, love is deeply connected to family acceptance and communal bonds. Marriage is often seen not only as the union of two individuals, but of two families and histories. In Japan, subtle gestures frequently carry emotional weight. Preparing meals, remembering routines, or offering quiet support can communicate affection more powerfully than dramatic words. In Latin American cultures, emotional expressiveness is often celebrated openly, through dance, music, physical closeness, and passionate communication. In parts of India, arranged marriages still exist today, yet many modern couples describe them not as the absence of love, but as love that grows gradually through commitment, trust, and partnership. Meanwhile, in Nordic countries, respect for independence and equality often shapes romantic relationships. Love may appear quieter on the surface, yet deeply rooted in trust and mutual respect. Different expressions. Same human desire. To belong. To connect. To be valued. One of the biggest misconceptions about love across cultures is the belief that only one style of romance is real. Movies and social media often promote a narrow image of love: grand gestures, constant passion, public displays, dramatic emotion. But around the world, millions of people express deep love in quieter ways. Some people say, "I love you," every day. Others wake up at dawn to work long hours for their families. Some write poems. Others repair broken doors, cook meals, or sit silently beside someone in grief. Another misconception is that cultural differences automatically create incompatibility. In reality, many intercultural relationships become incredibly strong precisely because they require intentional communication, empathy, and growth. The challenge is not difference itself. The challenge is assuming our own way is the only correct way. Years later, Maya and Idris attended a family gathering in Dakar. The house overflowed with music, laughter, children running through hallways, and the smell of food filling the evening air. At one point, Maya noticed Idris's father quietly standing outside alone. She joined him. After a long silence, he looked at her and smiled gently. "You know," he said, "when Idris was young, I worried he would lose himself marrying someone from far away." Maya's heart tightened. But then he continued. "Instead, our family became bigger." In that moment, Maya understood something deeper than romance. Love does not erase culture. It does not demand sameness. Real love makes space. Space for difference. Space for learning. Space for two histories to sit at the same table without fear. And perhaps that is one of humanity's greatest possibilities. Not becoming identical, but becoming connected. Every culture tells a different story about love. Some stories are loud. Some are quiet. Some are rooted in tradition. Others are constantly evolving. But beneath every language, ritual, wedding, gesture, and custom, there remains something profoundly human. The desire to care, to protect, to understand, to be understood. Maybe the future of humanity will not be built by people who are all the same. Maybe it will be built by people willing to listen to each other's hearts, even when they beat to different cultural rhythms. Because love, at its best, is not about proving one culture right and another wrong. It is about discovering that humanity has always been speaking the same emotional language, just with different accents. And perhaps that is what makes our world so beautiful.